Did you talk about this? You've talked about a lot about the 10-1-7. Oh no, last time we talked about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Isn't 10-1-7 around the corner too?
Yep. September 5th.
That will be interesting.
Well, I guess we can talk about that one game that nobody's playing right now because it's not Baldur's Gate 3.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It is a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, and as you guessed it, joined by Kristen and Brian.
Hello.
So, we're back.
We're back.
Haven't played much WoW in a while.
No. God damn.
Which I need to because the Kalimdor Cup is going on right now.
No, I don't care about that.
Well, you can earn like Dragon Rider, Dragonflight appearances or something like that. And it'd be neat just to try it, just to see.
Dragonflight appearances? What do you
Or
mean?
like skins for the dragon riding mounts.
I did, but like watching other people play it on Twitch, it was like it made the somebody was going through Oldham, and it made Oldham feel very small.
Really?
Like, yeah, like just watching it, I'm like, oh my gosh, are the Dragon Isles that big? Right? Because we fly around it and even takes like a few minutes to get between like two zones, right?
Yeah.
Even going from like I think Valdrakken all the way down to the soup event.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that takes like a few minutes to get down there.
Yeah.
It does not take a few minutes, but I know what you mean.
It feels like it does. It feels like it does.
No.
It does not take 2 minutes to get there.
A few could be more than 60 seconds, Jim. Good lord.
I don't think it even
No,
takes a minute.
I do. I do.
No.
I do.
No.
But
Well,
again,
I'm
it depends on how you are at dragon riding. Okay? You and almost everybody else gets there before I do because I usually get distracted by stuff.
Yeah, but squirrel. Ooh, shiny.
Yes.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Yeah. But it does. It depends. So you might not take 2 minutes to get there, but somebody probably takes 2 minutes to get there. You know. So
I don't know, but
There's no way that you can get there in less than 60 seconds. No, not happening. And if you want to prove that, we'll do it right now.
do it.
I can't right now because my computer is occupied.
Are you recording a podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna report a podcast.
Oh. Well, that's your fault.
Yeah. we'll do soup speed runs.
There you go. Yeah. Soup drag racing. That's what we're gonna do.
Here we go.
But yeah. So I haven't seen any of it, and I can't imagine. I mean, I don't think those zones are as big. I don't think Oldham is.
No,
and
Well, definitely
they
not.
are
But they
either.
felt bigger originally, right? And maybe. Even flight though. I remember like in the Cataclysm, it felt like forever because they opened up AQ or Silithus rather.
Yes.
They opened it up so you could fly over it, and I remember like in Cataclysm flying all the way over there and it just taking forever.
Well,
so
part of that I think is because the mounts go so slow compared to the dragon riding mounts.
yeah, for a long time you didn't have you only had what 210. Maybe it was like
3.
310?
It went to 310. 310 was master flying or something like that.
Well, there was one where you automatically got it if you got a certain mount, which I forget which mount that was.
It was the one from the
It was Northwind,
where
right?
long strange Shripit's been.
The Violet
event.
Proto-Drake.
Yeah, and I think there was one from
The Time Lost Proto-Drake gave it to you as well, I think.
I don't know about that because I don't have it. But I think there was also one from a raid.
Yeah, there
Potentially.
were a couple that would give it to you for free if you didn't buy it. But like, 'cause I just remember when we were playing Lich King, our good good friend of ours, we'd all be there, and he never bought Epic Flight, so it would take him forever to get there. He just refused to buy it.
That's hilarious.
It's like I'll get there eventually.
But yeah, but I think that the actual speeds are just that much faster to make it. They gotta be to make it feel that short. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it puts you in an instanced version of it where they can shrink the scale to make it feel like that.
No, and that's what I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm
No.
just saying like it's the perceived difference of dragonfly, the effect of dragonflying.
Yeah.
Is, and that's what I like. At first I'm like, flying has already made the regular world small anyways, just because you can zip right over everything. Like, will dragonflying actually make that worse?
I don't know.
That was my
yeah.
Are
I
we
don't
gonna
know.
get dragon flying in the regular world?
I don't think we are. I think we're
I
gonna
don't think
just
we
have
are
these
either.
things. Yeah, these race events.
No.
I
I'm pretty
can't
sure.
imagine because like you said, right? It invalidates. I mean, not that
I mean,
people are
yes, but those are
leveling.
like, I mean, there are, it's problems to the system. It's not problems to like. It would be cool to fly like that,
Yeah.
But then again, like, they should implement systems that help reduce, the ease of being able to do that. Like old flying, like you shouldn't be able to pop on a mountain, go fly, and do all that stuff. Like, add something to it. Add stamina. They have stamina with dragon flying, right? Add something else. I don't know what to feed your fucking dragon or something, so it doesn't, or your mount, or whatever.
Like you used to have to feed
You know what
your
I'm saying?
pets.
Like, if you just sit it on cruise control, like it is not a, it's just an aircraft at that point. So, and it's no different than what we have today. Now, which it might be a good thing. I really don't know. I can't think about it like that, but I don't go back to the old world enough to really care all that much. I just would like to see that it doesn't further separate the
Well, that's the thing.
immersion, I guess.
I mean, the thing is, right? By the time you get dragon riding, what are you doing in the old world other than like T-Mog farming?
Isn't that sad though?
Well, no, you're right.
Just-
you're
That
right.
statement's so sad.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I kind of like after Cataclysm, it's like before Cataclysm was coming out, I spent all that time getting the Seeker title and doing all the Lore
Yeah,
Master
we were doing
title,
the lore master.
on my death night because which
I-
means I had to go back to everywhere
Yep.
because I had not done anything.
I did it on my priest, and I went and we were doing it together.
Yeah, we were, you complete all the zones, make sure you get all the quests and get all the achievements so you can get the 3,000 quests and then whatever, before Cataclysm, because when Cataclysm came, they were changing a bunch of zones.
Yep.
They changed, like, the starting areas all changed. Barrens changed. All, you know what I mean? It's just like, it opened up Twilight Highlands, Mount Hyjal. You got some new zones, so you got more quests, which made it easier to get the Seeker title, because that was 3,000. But, you know what I mean? It was just like, so I went back on my death night and just, after Cataclysm came out, and redid all those zones just because I wanted to see the new quests. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, now it's like there's no reason to go back, which I mean, they kind of did some stuff in Legion, right, where you had to go to some of those zones for the artifact weapons and stuff like that. They've tried kind of to bring some of it back, in a way, but not like, it's always been like instanced, I think, where like you're in the area, but it's not like open world, so it's not like there's other people kind of thing. And they kind of did a little bit of that in Lich King, where they had the phases, like at the not the Wrath Gate, but the Wrath Gate was probably one of them, but like the entrance to Ice Crown and all that stuff, where like, or like the Bulwark, I don't remember what it was, where like where you had to fly on the Griffins and rescue the people and bring them back. through like the little chasm where the obelisks were and stuff like that. It was never like that was always zoned, and now they have the stuff in there now where you can not zone phased, where you can join a group and join their phase and like level sync kind of stuff, so you can be on the same phase as people. But it used to be like if you hadn't done like some of those base camp things and like progressed that part of the world, like you would be in a party and you'd be phased. You wouldn't be able to see your friend, So they did kind of have some of that, the world changes as things happen, but it was very limited. And I guess it just either caused them too much of a headache or it just wasn't popular enough for them to continue forward. So maybe that's, because that would be the start of like a persistent world where you experience it and it changes,
Yeah.
And I guess it's just, it makes, I don't know, it does make replayability different, but I don't know if it's not something that needs to be replayable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to like. There's nothing there to pull people back, so why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I do remember I was leveling in ICC, and it was right before. I forget which expansion it was. It might have been right before Legion, maybe, or Panda or something like that. And I was doing the quest for Arthas's heart that he threw down the thing or whatever. And you get down there and you get attacked by some faithless ones. And I'm like, wait a minute. These aren't the same thing. It was BFA because that was when they brought in like the old god shit again. Like the models had been updated. I'm like, oh, we're getting new models. I'm like they didn't used to look like this. It was kind of like how like if you go into Molten Core, the fire elementals are different.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not like the original ones. They're like the new ones, which I don't like that. I don't think that they should change stuff in old content. They should just leave it in there. I don't know how much that inflates the game size.
I don't know. I kind of like the updated models. I think
I do like the updated models
gives
too,
it
but
kind of
Have them randomly spawn with different, like either new or old. That'd be kind of cool.
Interesting.
or a mix.
Can we you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but can we just take a moment to remember the Wrathgate cutscene? Because that cutscene was so effing good.
Yeah.
It was such a good cutscene. Like, I don't know. It was one of those cutscenes where it was just like.
It was just crazy because.
You got chills.
Yeah.
It was so good.
At that, I always remember the Wrathgate, Yeah, it was a good addition to the game. I don't think they had that many in-game cinematics like that. And that was like really like the first major one that I remember. Because I don't think that there were really any before that. If you know what I mean. Not like rendered in-game.
Yeah, I don't know.
There might have been one or two, but that one was like. And then the dragons fly in at the end and shit.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was badass. It was I guess I miss the feeling of those cutscenes.
They've been doing better with some of them. Like there's a lot more of them now where also your character is in them and stuff like that. But I mean, nothing's been quite as epic as the Wrathgate stuff,
Well, I mean, there was 9.1, right?
I'm trying to remember. That was last expansion. That was BFA. Which one was that?
Was it 9.1 the one where the terrible, the COVID era terrible
Oh, the Garage
in-game animations were? Well, not only that one, but I think the one with the Sylvanas or something. I don't know. It was just bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, there were some ones that were just not as good as they could have been.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But, yeah. So, Kalimdor Cup. Yeah, that's going on.
I mean, Brian, you said you've been watching it on Twitch. I mean, have people been enjoying
Yeah.
it? Like, has it been like content that they're like, oh, this is really cool, or is it just filler?
I mean, it's definitely filler,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's what I thought, but
no, I mean, from what I saw, it was like I was watching Mr. GM most of the time,
Mhm.
and he was like, I think he's partially a completionist. I'm not really sure, but he was definitely trying to get all three of the
sure.
yeah.
Is it
So
is it the group races or is it individual?
the ones he was doing were individual.
Okay.
So I mean, I haven't done any of it, so
Yeah.
I can't say much myself.
That's
but-
kind of, I mean, okay, it's not selfie cam level of filler.
Well, you think about it,
No,
right?
Yeah, definitely not like that. Yeah.
It's
I'm just saying, like, there's like I was talking about earlier. There's really nothing that leads it back into. If nothing is, I thought for sure like we were going to get dragon flying in the old world, and so that's kind of what that was preparing us for, essentially. But if that's not the case, then
it might not be.
it really is.
yet.
It really is filler. It's filler in terms of like what can we do in the world to make it a place where people want to go and do different things.
Yeah.
But again, I think that, like we were just talking about, I think it's kind of too far gone to do that unless you reinvigorate the world somehow or rehydrate all those things in different ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's their new system. They're kind of trying to make, and it's not the worst thing that they've done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a pretty okay thing. It's like, and the
they
races.
need to go and make a new version of the Nether Drake racing and do it there because that when you went to go
Yeah.
get your Nether Drake
Yeah.
in BC, you had to race for it.
Yep.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah.
In those races. Yep.
So I mean,
Yeah, and
it's
I like them trying to do more things out in the world and make more content, make the world feel alive and make more content out utilizing those resources, right?
right.
Like I like that. That is one of my favorite things about Final Fantasy is that they utilize that a lot, they make a lot of stuff like they send you back into old areas and it's nice and old dungeons and old this and old that and it makes it feel now that won't necessarily work old dungeons and stuff with WoW because you there's no level scaling for those, right? You go in and if you're max level, you're just going to annihilate something in a level 20 dungeon. So there's, obviously
they can scale. They got time walking where it scales you. I mean, so they can do it. They can make
what they
a
could do
system.
is they could make it where you could maybe choose when you go into a dungeon, do you want to scale or do you want to Final Fantasy does that where you don't have to scale a dungeon. You could just like obliterate stuff.
I think if they made time walking permanent to where you could
I wish they would do that.
I mean, and so what I think that they should do is they should maybe make all the time walking dungeons available all the time, but have themed weeks or whatever where
You get
the
double
quest
the
is
resources
well,
or something.
the quest
or,
is to do that. Like maybe you don't get, stuff, or even make them not like Mythic Plus, but maybe even make it like another thing for like really cool like transmog things, right? Like or like achievement modes or something like that. Where you could go in and like the challenge modes were, right? Like bring those back, but put them into like a time walking thing and make challenge modes for them where you can do that to earn cool armor and stuff like that. That would be something people would probably do, and it reuses old content. They got the scaling stuff in there. They could tweak it, like, because they've tweaked old dungeons for Mythic Pluses, so they can do something different. They can make just an avenue where it's not tied to endgame. Like Mythic Plus raids and PvP all tie into the endgame in the level grind, but you could add something in for like a time walking mode where it's just like a transmog grind or like achievement or like mounts or something like that, you know, or something like that where it's like it's there if you want to do it, and it's maybe not as challenging, you know, but and you could even do that. You could even have like different tiers of it, you know, like, you know, wussy, normal, and like psychotic or whatever, where like, you know, you can get like different colorations of stuff, you know, just kind of like tier gear, but it's all transmog. You know what I mean? And it's
Things
just
to work towards is
Yeah.
really what. Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things, the good things too, is like they got this new system with Dragonflight, and it even in the world, it kind of makes sense. It's like, oh wow, they've discovered this new thing. We do this, like, how would people in the world take this new thing? It's like somebody invents a new car. What's the first thing they do? They race them, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, and then that kind of spreads. So you can kind of see that by this happening, it's spreading throughout the world. You know, maybe dragon riding doesn't become a mode of transportation in the old world, whatever, you know, but, you know, if it does, it does. But you can do things with old content, with new systems that just are there, you know, and it doesn't all have to revolve around endgame. And that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Everything revolves around endgame. Everything revolves around Mythic Plus or rating. And it's like they forget the people who are in the middle who don't do any of that, you know?
Yeah,
then there's no reason for you to log on.
Yeah, transmog, mount collecting, pet battles, which is kind of like part of the pet collecting stuff. Those are, and achievements, right? Those are all things that you can do that don't go into the end game, but they're not really
Engaging.
fun.
Yeah. They're busy work.
They're grinding. You know, it's like, well, what are you doing? It's like I look over right now, somebody's in ICC.
Yep. Doing.
I don't know what you're going for.
I'm
At least she's on the WoW.
I am
I
on
know.
WoW.
That shocked the fuck out of me.
Yeah. No, I'm doing the I haven't done any of my monthly thing this month.
Oh yeah, for the trading
so
post.
I'm doing some of that
Yeah, 'cause
because
that's coming up.
Yeah.
To get your blood armor,
Yeah.
the blood troll armor or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm doing that in the hopes of
Knocking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, but like that's the thing. Like if they made these optional, non-end game focused systems engaging, you know, it's like you can leave what's there as it is. Make new shit to do. Make new, you know.
Well,
they got the mount customization stuff with the dragon riding, right? Let's add that to existing mounts and let's get like armor and like let's make it a thing where you just have to go do like these like things that aren't tied to endgame but are fun to do too, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And you can like take your mount and then, you know,
well,
give blank templates for all the different main types of mounts.
So a lot of it too, I think, is that they do some stuff like that, but they do it sporadically. They do it at certain times because they want you playing at certain times and blah, blah, blah. So they are like, okay, you know, we're going to have time walking this time this month. And, you know, anybody who's trying to get like the time walking mount or the blah, blah, blah is definitely going to be engaged in that. Just let people do it all the time.
Well,
just,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't. It's frustrating and it probably, you know, one of those like buzzword things, right? Everybody is always, player engagement, and they don't respect the player's time, right? They're like, you will play on our time, on our schedule, you know?
I mean,
and that's frustrating because it's like, and they're like, you know, you can only do things like on these events, or you can only wear this transmog item during this one event. Like, what?
The problem with the problem with that shit is that somebody thought it was a good idea at the time, and they've never gone back and changed it.
Yeah, well, they need to do that.
I know. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't reevaluate, but, you know, I don't know what what it's like there. I don't know if they have time to go back and do that, or where like the pushback comes from, or whether or not they even look at that kind of stuff.
I mean, they're not creating any other content, so they might as
but
well.
But they are. I mean, because Forsaken Heritage Armor comes out September 5th.
Oh, that means I get Heritage
And
Armor
Druid
too.
Heritage, yeah. And
Druid. Night Elf.
Night Elf, sorry. It should have just been Night Elf Mohawk. That should have
Night
been the
Elf
Heritage
Mohawk.
Armor.
Oh
That
my
should have been the
God.
fucking Heritage Armor.
That would have been
Yep.
cool.
But yeah, so it's just like there's all these good ideas that we have, and like they just need to hire us as consultants, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's true. It really is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
what was I gonna say? We were
Make
talking
WoW
about
great again.
we were talking about the so like the mount stuff, right? Make a basic template for like a wyvern, like for all the racial mounts, right? Make a blank template that has the ability to be customized. So you have like a standard Kodo, and then you can get armor pieces.
Ooh, or horns,
Or yeah, so you can make mount specific ones, and then you can make generic ones. Now, obviously, the generic ones, they'd have to have a thing for each mount body type, right? Like if you were to get like war plating for
They get like a
mount,
Mr. Potato Head, and you just mix and match all the different pieces.
Mr. Potato Head and his bucket of fun.
Nobody's gonna know what Mr. Potato Head is
Buckets
except for
of
us.
fun for. I guarantee you, people
Aw.
have watched Toy Story.
Toy Story. Yeah, Toy Story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but do
we
people
brought that
even
back.
realize that that was a Mr. Potato Head?
I'm pretty sure that was his name, and they called him that.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I've seen Toy
Well,
Story.
Mapping back to an actual toy is, I think, what she meant. And
But
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
like etch a
Right.
sketch and
Yeah.
even the microphone dude. I remember the microphone dude too. You put the tape in, and then you could do the karaoke.
Oh,
carry it
yeah,
around.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Teddy
Yeah.
Ruxpin? No.
No, Jesus,
Oh my
I had that too. I
There's a
had
deep
that
spirit.
too.
All right, but yeah, so yeah, like make customized one. They kind of did it a little bit in BFA in Mechagon with the robot cat and stuff like
Yeah.
that, where you could do like the paint
Well, you could change
schemes.
the colors.
Right.
Yeah.
The next step is armor, or and with dragon riding, you have different variations of it. Let people have like a blank slate mount and put some of that stuff in there. It's like that customization like that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's basically like a character creator for your mount, but you have to go out and earn the things. Like give it like a basic set of it, and then let it earn it. Just that. And even then, with the barbershop being in the game and character creation being essentially just an in-game thing that you can do now,
I do appreciate that.
right? Why not make special like appearance things that you can do? Like, what if you want like a scar through your eye? Make that something you can go out and
Yeah.
farm. Like they have the
Yeah.
well, you have like the transmog stuff for like the weapon
Or
enchants.
just get in a fight, and then you can have a scar.
Yeah.
God, Jim. Come on.
I'm sorry, we're talking.
Farm,
I forgot.
but not buy. Don't put it on the cash shop.
No,
Farm. Or
but make them sellable in the auction house
or
if you don't.
Or-
Well,
or
put the tendies on the shop, then be
Yeah.
able to buy them with tendies instead.
or put them
Convert
both.
cash to
Give a farming option if you don't want to pay, and a cash shop option. I don't understand why places don't do this, because it's very frustrating to me. If you want to make your cash shop non-invasive, put it in the game for some sort of grind thing, not ridiculous, right? Make it commiserate to whatever the value is outside of the game, right? Don't lock it behind something where people are just going to be like, well, I'm just going to pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make it a feasible grind, but do that.
Now,
And then people are like, oh, well, I can do this in game. I have more time than I have money. I can do this in game. I'll do that. Yeah.
I think
don't
they
un-
should just get rid of.
I mean,
the
I
cash
do
shop.
understand. I agree 100%. I don't think a cash shop should be in a
should
game
just-
where there
They
is.
should, but it should just be the services. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should just be
Yes.
services.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, I agree. It should not be cosmetic.
Leveling boost
Not in a game
potions,
where you're
invincibility
paying,
potions.
Yeah. Not in a game where you're paying a sub.
Yeah.
When in a game when
Agree,
you're paying a
yes.
sub, you should get everything because you're paying a sub every goddamn month. And it's, I disagree with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy does the same thing. They have a cash shop too. And it's a sub game. And same thing. I will criticize them as well. I don't same thing with, little bit different. Elder Scrolls, I think, is an incredibly predatory game, right?
Yeah.
Very
Yes,
predatory.
so.
Their cash shop is very, very predatory.
Are they free to play?
Buy to
They
play.
are buy to play with a cash shop.
Oh.
With an option for a
interesting.
sub,
With an option for a sub.
would give you a stipend.
And this is what I was going to say. They give you, what Jim just said, they give you a stipend. So they give you a certain amount of that
cash shop currency.
cash shop currency every month. And that I'm a little more okay with because you're getting value from your sub. So, you know what I mean? So that I'm okay with. And again, it is buy to play. You buy the expansion and, blah, blah, blah. So I'm a little bit more okay with that. I think their cash shop is trash. It is so incredibly predatory. But that, whatever. I think that if games gave you a stipend of the currency. Now, Final Fantasy doesn't actually have a currency. You just pay cash and you get the items. You don't have to buy.
Nate?
Which a currency in itself is predatory, right? It should be, just a dollar conversion so you know how many dollars you're spending and you don't have to figure out, I spent this much on this amount of currency to get this value out of, you know what I mean? Like currencies are predatory as well. But
I will say that with the trading post, maybe because you do get technically by logging in every month, which by virtue of having a sub, you can log in, you do get the tenders, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the trading post tender is.
I mean,
but what
you
if,
get
but what
some,
if, what if they just moved everything out of the cash shop
moved it for tenders?
and put it in the trading post on a rotating thing all the time, and you just, you can earn that.
I would be okay with that.
But make
would
it
be
so
a
that you
good
can
thing.
earn more tenders, right? Because, having to save up but if they had like a set rotating schedule so that you knew that, so you could kind of
So you could knew
squirrel
what to save
away.
up for. Yeah.
I think that would be better. Get rid of the shop, maybe have like your special things for like they got that Ukraine relief thing with like the pets or something like, what I mean? Things
I
like
feel like it used to be that way only.
they used to not have like a lot of mounts and stuff like that. Like if it's going for like donations and stuff like that, sure, put it in the cash shop. Leave the services in the cash shop, but take all the mounts, all the cosmetics, all the pets, all the toys, take them out of there, beef up the trading post, give more tenders, find that balance. I mean, it's going to be hard to really like kind of put a value.
At one point too, like with that, they should take the black market auction house and finish dumping all that shit into the trading post as well.
Yeah.
Because the black market auction house was a way to provide those things
And a
after
gold
they were already
sink.
gone.
Yeah.
But at a huge, it's a huge
Yeah.
gold sink. But now that they there's this process of getting gold, for cash. Like,
Yeah,
there's an imbalance again. Like, so
I would even say getting rid of the token might not even be a bad thing to do too, because if you
Yeah.
can basically buy gold, it invalidates a lot, and it takes away even the desire to play. Because if you can buy it, why play?
it is true. It is very true. Right. I will say that, like, at least when we had the mission table that was providing us with cash or gold in the game, there was a reason for me to go back in and do it.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2 lately. Not lately, since Baldur's Gate came out, but before that, I was playing a lot of Guild Wars 2. And you can buy gold in their cash shop, and that did not in any way diminish the amount of time that I was playing that game. It helped me to achieve some of the things that I wanted to achieve. I bought a lot of gold, probably.
So,
But it made things easier for me to do the way this, and I still played all the time. I was literally playing like I was all day, like, and there is enough. So there's enough achievements and stuff. Now I've been playing that game since launch, right? Since beta. So, but I play it sporadically, right? New XPEC comes out, play the story, and then that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Don't really do too much else because I never really understood their fascination with like collections until I started doing collections. And holy shit, collections are fun. Because it's just collecting things. It's just running around and doing different content and collecting things. And I actually am really enjoying that now.
Yeah, sounds like archaeology.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, rip.
God, they need to bring that shit back.
Yeah, but that's what it was, right? And buying gold did not make me play any less. In fact, it probably made me play more.
Well, so I do want to talk about the Guild Wars 2 cash shop in a second, but like buying gold in WoW isn't the same thing as buying it for Guild Wars 2 in the sense that, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same. It feels that the WoW token stuff is just really there to combat gold sellers.
Sure.
And
which I don't think is a bad thing. I'm glad there aren't gold sellers.
No, I know that. And there still are, because you can probably get it cheaper from a gold seller, probably still. But they're...
Asian? Where?
I don't know.
I've never
I guess
seen
China.
it.
I guess not China anymore because like they don't have WoW anymore. So
That is
Oh,
very
holy
sad.
shit, you're
That's
right,
very
yeah.
sad.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
well, I mean, it just sucks that some people don't have access to the game, but you know that's politics
The
and
farm gold
business.
it sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks.
So that probably really killed the gold farming market.
I don't know if it was necessarily just out of China.
A lot of it was.
Okay.
No.
So
Well,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
just what it was. I mean, whatever. But I don't know. The WoW token stuff just seems useless, and it just seems like a way to like spend a lot of money to get things that really should be obtainable a lot easier. Like if it was like a supplemental thing to do, to like whatever, fine, but
let's be real. I abuse it, so
yeah.
I bought gold just to catch up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing, right? You shouldn't need gold to catch up, and I think nowadays you don't even need that.
offsetting having to play over time to get to that point, not necessarily for gold, but right to jump the item level ladder essentially. And it's only a small part, really, right? There's only so much you can do, but you can do it. So
Yeah.
and that, I mean, it feels bad, kind of.
Yeah.
So
And if it feels bad, it's probably bad, and that's why I don't
Yeah.
like it, because it's like, I don't know, like in Guild Wars 2, so their cash shop is set up where they have a currency for the cash shop that they call gems, right? You can
Mhm.
buy gems with money.
JM
Yeah, it's gems. You buy gems.
gems.
You buy
Uh,
gems, yes.
And so you buy
I
that.
buy so
You can buy
many
that
gems.
with money, but then they also have a conversion rate between gold and gems. So
Yeah.
you can earn gold in game
And then
and convert it to gems,
yep.
or you can buy gems and convert it to gold. And so, but most of the stuff in the shop, all the stuff in the shop is like XP boosts, cosmetics, skins for the mounts, dye, like nothing like major. And it's like, it's nothing that really impacts the game, because honestly, boosting to level 80 doesn't mean shit, because everything scales. The zones are all scaled, so you still have to do the story to unlock things. you do have to, if you don't play the Living World story when it's live, it then becomes locked. Then you have to buy them, the episodes.
Oh.
But you can literally just log in when there's a new Living World story and just get it for free and
Yeah.
then log back out. You don't even have to do it. You
Which
can just,
which is fine because you don't need that stuff to play the game. You know, there's other stuff you can do, but you know, the stories are pretty good. But like that cash shop, the whole concept of everything's cosmetic or, you know, whatever, you know, it doesn't, it's not a gear, it's not pay to win by any stretch of the imagination. You know,
Mhm.
there's some quality of life items like unbreakable harvesting or like gathering tools.
yeah, those are pretty nice.
You know, so like, because the ones in the game have so many uses and then you have to get more and all that stuff. And there's different grades of them, or you can just buy some, you know, same thing with like salvage kits that let you break gear down, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's all quality of life or transmog cosmetic type stuff, you know, or like experience gain or stuff like that. So you can do some stuff faster, but it doesn't make the game any less playable. Like, it doesn't mean that you can do that instead of playing, you know?
Mhm.
So I think, like, from the beginning, when with the fact that they had that even in the beginning, that was that's the ideal cash shop, you know, because you absolutely do not need anything from it to do anything in the game.
Oh yeah, it's
And
100%.
you know,
cosmetic.
and WoW is kind of like that too. You don't need anything in the cash shop to play the game, but the fact that you pay a sub and then have to buy it and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I mean, I guess with the WoW token, can you buy stuff from the shop with tokens?
Yes.
So yeah, so you could, you know, farm gold, buy tokens, buy stuff in the shop. So, but it's not as, I don't know. It feels a little bit different, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
It's different, but the main thing with WoWs is the sub. I couldn't think of it. Like the fact that you pay a sub.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like,
yeah.
so like the sub does get you access to all like the other games, like the classic games, which Classic Hardcore comes out in 4 days, August 24th. That's gonna
so,
be.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that works. Go die a bunch.
Mhm.
But you know, it's like, so the value that you get for the sub is way more than it was when it was just World of Warcraft, right?
Sure.
Because you have WoW, you have WoW Classic, you have, you know, like the classic, you have Lich King Classic. I don't know if you can do just BC Classic anymore. I'm surprised they don't have those out there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I haven't tried. But then they got
I don't
Hardcore
know.
coming out. So there's going to be, so it's like 4 games for one sub. So you're getting more for your money. Whether you choose to play it or not, whether it's of any value to you
right.
specifically,
But
you
it
know,
is-
whatever.
yeah.
But you do get more for your $15 a month than you used to.
Yeah.
So, you know, plus you get the trading post tenders for logging in, you know, which is, I mean, so you kind of are getting that for your sub as well, because you wouldn't get it if you weren't subbed because you couldn't log in, you know. So
Yeah.
Yep.
so I mean, you know, it is getting to be better, but again, the cash shop stuff is just, yeah. So, well, wow, I didn't realize we were going
Wow.
to talk about cash shops
Ha!
this
You're
entire time.
welcome.
So, hey, no, it's good content.
Yeah, it's just
It's rough, you know. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to justify that stuff, especially. And I know Baldur's Gate is a completely different type of game. It is just like a classic computer role-playing game and all that stuff. It is a complete game with no planned DLC, you know what I mean? Which means there's no expansion stuff planned for it right now. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't. But it's feature complete, it's a game complete, and there's no cash out. The only DLC, it's $10, which just gives you some items that are like
Literally not anything. Like, I don't even use them, I don't think.
No, but they're all like Easter egg stuff from like Divinity Original Sin 2, right? But so the game has no microtransactions. The game has no cash shop. It's a fun, engaging game that's feature complete and is like probably one of the best releases of a game to come out in the last 3 years.
Well, for one thing,
minimal
because
bugs.
yeah, and like best releases, because when you think about it, it's not an online game, right?
You can play it.
You can play it. I mean,
it's got the launcher button.
You can play it. You don't have to sit in queue.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and worry about login servers going down or this or that, or them being overwhelmed because,
yes. It is definitely it's got a single player content. So like unlike like Diablo 3 and Diablo 4, where Diablo 4 you can't just play single player.
Yep.
It is open world, so people are around when you're in the overworld kind of thing. Instance dungeons, right?
Yep.
Diablo 3, I think you can play by yourself and invite people in or open it up, but you still have to be online to play. And for single player games, like I think Origin had some of those. Ubisoft probably had some of those where like wasn't Mass Effect 3 like that, where like you needed to be online to log in.
Inquisition, I think, as well.
Yeah, and which is annoying.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna give me single player content, do not
Don't-
require an internet connection.
Let me pop it on my laptop and just go somewhere and not have to have a stupid internet connection.
Yeah, and like so. And that's why there's all this hubbub about Baldur's Gate 3 and all these AAA devs all being like, don't let this be the standard. It's an anomaly.
That is so frustrating to me because it's like, that should be the standard. That is, we took such a step back in gaming.
Yeah.
This was what the standard used to be.
Look at the 80s into the early 90s and the quality and the attention to detail in RPG games.
Yes.
It's insane. It's so sad that so many people missed out on that.
Well, even like the 2000s, because Baldur's Gate was later.
And then, the problem is...
Okay, we talked about that before, didn't we?
The gaming companies got bought out by big names, and they're like, oh, we can monetize. So we took a huge step back. Gaming got popular, and we took a hit for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this should be what we expect, because this is what we had prior to the game companies realizing, oh, we can milk the player base.
We have a mix of what it used to be like with now what they can do with graphics and everything. Like, it's awesome.
But it's frustrating because it's like...
I can understand, like, some of those other devs saying that stuff with the caveat that they're
little studios.
They're basically there's subtext there. Like, they're basically saying, don't expect that from us. And what they're really saying is, don't expect that from us because our bosses won't let us do that.
Sure.
And so that I don't know.
They're trying to save their jobs.
Right. They can't basically say, yeah, we're not allowed to do this kind of stuff.
Right.
Because we have to have all these things in there because it has to turn a certain profit.
Yep.
So
has to have player engagement metrics and blah blah blah.
But you can't say that publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And
not if you want to keep your job.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So which it's I don't know. I don't know how you combat that. You can't. You know what I mean? It's like they're just kind of between a rock and a hard place. But it really just seems like if you can't say what you mean because you're afraid for losing your job, don't say something and make it seem like you're just being being an asshole. Go to your bosses and say, look at how successful this is. We don't have to do this. You can do that for certain types of games, but if we're going to make something, let's just make a good game that people will want to buy.
Yeah. Yeah, because shocker, if you make a good game, people will play it.
People will buy it and play the shit out of it.
What?
The other day, I looked at Steam stats for Baldur's Gate, and there's 500,000 people playing it at one time.
There was
They
over
Can you imagine how
800.
many people actually bought it?
There was over 800,000 playing it at one time.
The first Sunday, they hit 850K.
Yep.
And how big is Larian Studios?
Small.
They're small, aren't they?
They've only been around since '96. I think they have a couple of offices, Belgium, Paris, and somewhere in Canada, I believe. They started with like 100 devs. I think they ended up with like 400 or something like that. But they're small.
Yeah, it says 450 is what they have.
Yeah.
450 people working for the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
The thing of it is that the owner, Sven, I can't say his last name. I don't know it. It's
Vinky?
Is that it? Venky or something like that? Venka or
Yeah,
whatever?
something
I don't
like
know.
that.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure how to pronounce it, but he is like, he was the spearhead for this shit. He's been the face of this company.
He
Like,
loves games.
When they got the rights, when this was announced, he did this whole fucking thing where he was talking with the people from Wizards of the Coast, and they talked. There was like that bottle that you can suck somebody in and trap people with it. So like he's wearing the armor, he goes to the Wizards thing, and they're talking. He steals this bottle, traps one of the Wizards guys, and like gets him to like spill all this information about like Baldur's Gate. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And like all their
That's awesome.
panels from hell
Yeah.
type thing
Well,
and stuff. It's like
And that's the thing. He loves the game. Somebody like Bobby Kotick hates gaming. They
Yeah.
see no value in gaming other than the
Right,
value that they can suck out of their player base. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That is the money is the value that they see in gaming. Where
yeah, his job is not
Sven,
creative thing. He's
it's
a director.
it's the value he gets out of it is the gaming, the gameplay, the playing the game. You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Right. It's super frustrating when you look at it, and it's certainly. I've been bitching about Bobby Kotick for a long time, or in any of the companies, the big companies who buy it because they can turn a profit,
Yeah.
and not because
Yeah.
they love the genre, and not because they love gaming. And that is so frustrating because it's like, I just want to, it's to the point where it's like, this is why I enjoy Final Fantasy so much. Yoshi P clearly loves. Now, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, right? Because work is very important. It's a very important part of Japanese culture, right? So I don't know if it's, that he loves, but it comes through when he talks. His passion.
Oh, you've never seen Bobby
for the
Kotick at like BlizzCon?
Yeah. I mean, but we have seen the Xbox guy now.
You know, Phil Spencer?
Oh, no, wait. That wasn't at... sorry, never mind. You can cut that out.
No, it's fine.
That was at...
No, that was at the Final
that was
Fantasy
at the
thing.
Final Fantasy one.
Yeah.
I'm getting them confused now.
That's fine. Well, but that's the thing, right? Is like the heads of these studios, which he's an Activision guy. He's not Blizzard, right? So that makes sense that he wouldn't be involved in that. But it's like, it's better when it's self-contained, like Larian Studios. Like when it was just Blizzard, it was
They made
better.
good games.
They they had more control. They didn't have like overhead and people like staring down and giving them these things to do. That really hurts it because now it's turning in from making a good game that people are going to enjoy, that people are passionate about when they make it, to just drumming out a product.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That, that banks on the success and the nostalgia and like just the love that people have for the IP. It's like, because I really like the Warcraft universe.
Yep.
I remember, in the early, I don't know if it was late 90s, early 2000s, going to like a Target or something like that and looking at like the computer game discs on like the rack or whatever when they were on CDs, and there was the demo for Warcraft, Orcs versus Humans. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Picking that up, and it wasn't the full game and all that stuff. I eventually ended up getting it, but I'm like, oh, this is really cool, just like build these little RTS games, right? And it's just like, I didn't play Warcraft 3 when it came out, I kind of missed that one, but then eventually got into the World of Warcraft stuff. But like I had played Warcraft and Warcraft 2 and all that stuff. I'm like, this is some really cool stuff. 'Cause I like the high fantasy stuff. I was into Warhammer at the time. I loved reading those books, like the army books and stuff like that, and just anything about that. So like this was just like a parallel story thing with it, with similar things, obviously not the exact same, but like just in the same vein, you know what I mean? So it was just like, yeah, and it's like, and I still do, and it's just like, it's hard when things don't, when things change. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a very good adaptation and evolution of those games. It takes the best things from like the Dragon Age games with like the party interactions, and it takes the best things from like the CRPG, third person isometric view, turn-based, fucking turn-based, man. Just fuck yeah. It's like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just say it's just being able to sit there and get into a situation and split your guys up and go, okay, how am I going to do this? Playing, just like war general type game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because all the games I've been playing in Baldur's Gate are the tactician mode. So it's like the high end one. So some of them fights get fucking nuts. And you got to play them through to the end because, you could have somebody go down, and that doesn't mean that you've lost the fight because, they still got death saves and all this stuff. Even if they're down, right? Sometimes you can still eke it out and still pull through and then get them res and all that stuff. There have been some where I've had like one person left alive and had to go back and get them resurrected. You know what I mean? Because it was just that freaking close. And it's just like, you have to be smart about it. You have to know what you have in your toolbox and do it. And I enjoy that kind of, brain game type stuff,
I will say that, so most of my, I really love the Dragon Age games. Really, really, really love them. Play all of them, right? And I miss the in the Dragon Age games you can hit pause and set up all of your stuff hit spacebar to pause it to set up your characters and blah blah blah, get them in whatever areas you need them to be. And I can't tell you how many times I have hit spacebar and
end your turn.
Ended my turn.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate,
like,
I do that like it's
Yep.
because like in the original ones you would hit like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, you would hit spacebar to pause.
Yep.
Because you didn't have turn based, it was all behind the scenes, but you could set the game to auto pause after each thing, so you could make it turn based.
Yep.
But even then, it was more like behind the scenes turn based. Like, but having it like fully in your face like this is like just fully controllable. All that stuff, and it's just like I like it. I like turn based games like this because it makes it feel like you have an opportunity. And I really wish that the initiative system feels like they get grouped together too much, and sometimes I don't like that, but it's just a personal thing. But
yeah, right. I mean that's yeah.
All right, well, I think it's been a lot of good stuff. So we'll
a lot of good.
That was a good WoW talk.
Yeah, good WoW talk.
WoW talk.
We actually talked about WoW.
A little bit.
Yep. Next week I don't think we'll be doing an episode because we'll be out of town. So, check back in a couple weeks for the next episode. Hopefully that'll give us some time to kind of get into some of the stuff. I think by then, 1.10.1.7 will be out and stuff like that. It comes out the 5th. So, That'll be close to our 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary. Holy shit!
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing anything for that. We'll have to figure that out. So anyway,
Yeah, still need to figure that out.
stay tuned. Yeah. Yep. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot a tweet at server_restart, and we'll catch you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.